I mean, folks, just take alcohol for an example, right? What it does to people, what it does to you. Alcohol changes people when they're drunk, shows you parts of them that you've never seen. Sometimes the most introverted person becomes the most extroverted person. Sometimes the most extroverted person becomes the most introverted person. Sometimes the most toughest and hardest of people become vulnerable and tearful and, emotional and things like that. It's like, it's huge. I've seen people that are drunk that I would never recognize who they are, if I didn't notice their facial features or something like that, because it's completely not who they are whatsoever. So, who are you at the end of the day, type of thing. If something can change you completely for that time being and influence you in whatever it is, then, what does it say about our own psyche? What does it say about our own personality, our own psychology, if it can be changed so quickly and in such a radical way, folks? Such a radical way. It's remarkable. How the brain is wired, and how just a few different firing synapses or different kinds of, neurons, whatever it is, being affected or something, or chemicals, whatever it is, and the person changes, eh? So who are we at the end of the day? And that's the goal, is figuring that out, folks. Hi, folks. I'm just doing this recording in my car, and I've got a whole lot of boxes in here. Don't know why I'm telling you that. But I don't know what you can really see in the background. And I'm wearing my sunglasses just because I have very sensitive eyes to bright sunlight. And also lighting at night as well. I'm not one for bright fluorescent lighting. Not at all. I actually can't concentrate or think or actually feel comfortable at night time when there's a lot of bright lights around. I don't know. And I suppose that's what I wanted to chat about, is sensitivity. For myself, I spend a lot of time observing, not just in environments, as well as my own state of mind and my own state of body, if you will. All right, and I like to see the different influences and effects, and sometimes mind-altering substances, like what happens. I like to try to understand, like, who is me and my sort of familiarity of the sense of myself, okay? And then what is everything else that sort of influences or changes or manipulates or enhances or something like that. Whether it's foods, okay? Whether it's lack of sleep, whether it's environments, all right? Whether it's, which you can break down environments into being nature or not nature, or sounds, machine sounds or whatever. I like to pay attention, which is sometimes exhausting, but it's just my way. I like to pay attention to see that which is changing my frequency, in a sense. All right. And I pay a lot of attention to that. I pay a lot of attention to that when I wake up in the morning, and I see how I'm feeling, and then I try and work out what am I feeling, or why am I feeling a certain way. Like, I try and think about maybe dreams, how dreams that night have affected me, because really, folks, you can wake up in the morning and you could have had a nightmare, or you could have had a very pleasant dream, and you'll feel very different, okay? You still feel like you, but there's something else that feels different. So that's what I'm saying, is that, I'm appreciating the fact that there's you, and then there's an experiencer or something else that is that's fluctuating in a way, that changes. That's not often of the time sort of set in stone, or that is very flexible, very fluid. Okay, and that's strange. That is strange when you start paying attention to it. I really also notice how few people are aware of the things that are impacting their lives, okay, or changing the environments, or what's going on. Anyways, I'm jumping here, but let's say we'll get into that. But let's say I wake up in the morning, and so I try and assess, and I say, well, what did I do yesterday? Like, maybe it was a heavy day. Maybe I just was around some very unhealthy people, very unhealthy environments. Or maybe I had some very unfortunate news or something like that. I'm going to have to open this door. It's getting hot in this car. Maybe what was the influences of the day before? What is the influences maybe of the week before? Maybe I've just had let's say a constant sort of stress of finances or something like that. And when I wake up in the morning, I'll see and I'll observe and pay attention and be like, okay, sometimes I can understand, sometimes I can see what it is and like, okay, but other times, you just don't know. And sometimes you realize that it's a whole culmination of things. It's a whole number of different factors that are influencing maybe your moods, your attitudes, your general feeling. Okay, so I like to pay a lot of close attention, all right? And I suppose that's why it was quite hard for me when I was smoking Mary Jane, just for myself personally, right? I stopped a few years ago. I often think about getting back into it, but I suppose I still can't figure out why I stopped, really. I didn't have a bad relationship with it at all, although there was times where, I was smoking for years. And only in the last, maybe for the last few months, it was just whatever I smoked, it was just too intense. I couldn't get things done. I was glued to my chair. I was like, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It felt like before where, let's say you have maybe 1 or 2 beers. Okay, not that it's like anything like alcohol at all, heaven forbid. But like you take 2, that's how it was for me, like that sort of feeling. But then when I did smoke, it was like I was taking 5 shots of tequila. And so even if I was smoking, and I've mentioned this before, even if I was smoking a very sort of mild herb, anyway, nonetheless. So today, why I suppose I'm doing this talk is because I ordered myself some, and I'm not going to say those 3 letters in a row because of YouTube's guidelines and things like that. And I've seen a lot of people get strikes and whatever it is for 3 letters, and I'm going to say them in reverse. So it's a DBC, okay? I'm saying them in reverse so it doesn't pick up on Google or whatever, because I've been doing a lot of research on DBC, okay? And if you revert, obviously you can figure out what it is. I've been very interested in that, and so I've been doing a lot of research on it, and I ordered some for myself. I paid a bit of a price for it, and it came this morning, and I took a small dosage, whatever it is, and I'm simply amazed, hey? Sure, simply amazed. Alright, you can do your own research on it. I know Rockin' Roberta, she's a viewer of mine, she did a video on it, and her experience, I think, of it, and she got a strike on it. So I'm saying, I'm sure a lot of you viewers who are listening know what it is, and have maybe even tried it, but for myself, I've, took some this morning, and it's just like, wow. And so I'm very interested to see. I suppose I've also taken it because when I'm in the city and I have things to do, I get overwhelmed and I get anxious to the degree where I feel dizzy by the end of the day. Again, before I wasn't aware of, why I was feeling dizzy or overwhelmed. Not really dizzy. I can stand up straight, I can walk, but my head feels very, very lofty, very, whatever it is. And I know it's because of the city. When I spend time in nature, I'm fine. Okay, so but I've got a lot of things to do. I've got these boxes. I'm opening another store, a ladies' shoe store. Can you believe it, folks? It's a long story, that, but I'm opening a store. It's in a hectic environment. It's just, there's a lot of people, so the energy's heavy and there's a lot of noise. For myself, it's like, if I'm going to get my car washed, which I never do, I can't stand car washes, and this place has got like a car wash right outside. There's so much noise, the pressure, it's just, I get overwhelmed, folks. It's like on a very busy road, and the taxis here, like their minibuses, they hoot all the time, right? It's just really, and I get overwhelmed. And so for myself, I've taken a little bit of these drops in order to see how I manage, okay? And how hopefully it will dial things down a little bit. So I'm appreciating how I feel and what the effect is, and that again, I can definitely feel an effect. I can definitely feel sort of a mild sort of, I don't know, I have to think about it more. It's very fresh. I took it, 2-3 hours ago, so I'm still having to, think about it and put into words. So I want to see that, I want to view that. But what I'm saying is that I'm rather, here comes somebody. I'm rather wary of, I'm not wary. Let's put it that way. Sometimes I'm wary. And I'm sure we all are wary from time to time of certain drugs or substances that we can take. Okay, we become a lot more sensitive. And here comes Tabo with his bucky. And we become a lot more sensitive, and we have to appreciate that so much more. Okay, than as we were before. I think we become sensitive in all different areas of life, like I've said, and paying attention and whatever it is. And so, yeah, in a big way. Like alcohol, I can't drink booze anymore. I can have a glass of wine and then I'm fine, but like alcohol just makes me feel nauseous. Whatever it is. A lot of foods as well, in a big way, very sensitive to foods. Again, very sensitive to violence. But that's what's interesting to me, folks, is that like, how many things can change us and moods. Maybe it's like even a movie that we watch or something or other, a piece of pornography that disturbs us, a piece of news that comes over the radio that disturbs us. From all different angles, can we have a different kind of experience? Can we feel differently? Can we see differently? Just 2 drops of a substance, 2 drops of a hallucinogenic of some kind, LSD or something like that, 2 drops of it will change you for, we are so susceptible, like we cannot believe, to chemicals, to energies, to vibrations, to the moon cycles, to astrological, even a woman with the menstrual cycle. It's amazing how much we can be influenced, how much we can be, our moods change, our personality change, and just our general experience change. Okay? And so for what I'm saying is that I like to personally try and keep it as real as I can and just experience what I'm feeling. But sometimes when I'm feeling rather anxious, okay, if meditation doesn't work, if taking a bath doesn't help, or whatever it is, time out, then I look and I say, okay, what sort of remedies, what sort of medicines can I take in order to assist me? And there's nothing wrong with that. Medicines, the plant medicines have been in the human history and evolution and culture since the beginning of time, right? But what I'm saying, and my point being here is that, folks, is that we got to be aware of, obviously, of how things affect us, of who we are without certain substances, without certain foods, without maybe sugar in our diet, without maybe having sex for some time or whatever it is, to have all the different kind of experiences, get to know yourself and what your body reacts to, what your mind reacts to, what your spirit reacts to, or whatever, again, words fail here, but like to see and figure it out and find out and explore and experience and see, but keep it also as organic as possible, hey? Keep it as raw as you can. I'm saying, like, be careful of man-made substances, hey? Be careful of man-made environments, for sure. Be careful of television late at night. Like I've said, huge big TV screens. Be careful of light. Be careful of processed foods. Be careful of... Oh, just hit my car. With this gate thing, I could see it being a problem. Yeah, you're gonna have a car, folks. It's gonna get scratched, This metal gate that Tabo's got on his pickup truck banged into the front of my car. But I can't be stressed about that. Again, that's also another thing. Find out what stresses you, what's worth sort of being stressed over, what isn't, etc. I don't know. There's so much going on, folks. There really is. So again, just ending off on this, it's really about being as natural as you can be. Right, I'm saying in regards to obviously food, environments, conversations, what you put in your body, what you listen to, what you watch, okay, what you think about a lot of the time, what you eat, etc., putting in your body, and finding out what is your balance, and finding out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Sometimes you've got to make life changes. Maybe sometimes you've got to change your environment completely. You've got to relocate, if you have the, you know, the affordability to do so, and the availability to do so, and even the option to do so. So find out all the time, spending all the time, seeing the people in your life, how they're making you feel when you're with them, when you're not with them, you know, when etc. Finding out, folks. Like, I just see so many people have no idea about any of this. They have no idea whether the relationships they are in are really toxic or not, the foods that they're eating are toxic or not, the environments that they're in, the thoughts that they're in, the movies that they watch. They have no idea whatsoever. The music that they listen to, they have no idea, right? Their lifestyles, their decisions, their thoughts, they have no idea. And I think it's dangerous. It's absolutely dangerous, no question about it. Absolutely dangerous. And if you're like that, then you're vulnerable. You're vulnerable to be taken advantage of. You're vulnerable to the machine, to the empire, to manipulate you. You know, if you're not a self-made man or woman and you don't know yourself from the inside and out, then you're in trouble. What can I say? All right, folks. Whatever. I hope that's made a bit of sense. But yeah, I'll update you maybe more so on just the feelings and effects of this new experience of this oil, if you will. Alright, folks, we'll chat soon. Take care. Yeah, folks, I seem to be coming back to this video, making clips, things that I've left out, saying things I left out. I suppose because I started this recording in my driveway, then I started driving, and now I'm somewhere else. And on the way, I was just thinking that maybe this video is about finding your sweet spot. Okay, like finding your sweet spot, like what works for you in regards to substances, whether they be natural or unnatural, whether environments, people, etc., you know, ways of thinking, beliefs, etc. It's just constantly finding your sweet spot and being consistent with who you are, right? I don't know if this makes sense at all. Being consistent with who you are. Like, yes, things can change us. You know, in front of me here, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to just show you. These are adverts for goodies. So I'm sitting in front of like a grocery store. I don't know if you can see, there's Coca-Cola, there's Monster, there's Red Bull, there's liquid fruit. I don't know if you get liquid fruit, it's concentrated, you know, apparently 100% juice, which is all nonsense. It's all just chips at the top, potato chips, you know, chocolates or all sorts, all these different creams, all dangerous, all of this stuff, heavy loaded with chemicals of all sorts, if you will. Alright, so what am I saying? I'm getting distracted here. My point being is that, like, you know what affects you, you know who you are, you learn about who that is. I mean, it's hectic, folks. Even like trauma, you know, you heal from the trauma, you heal from the conditioning, you heal from the programming, and you find your sweet spot, your centered self in a way that's consistent. Like I'm saying, so be aware of all these things that can influence you and affect you and change you, and see and learn that. I mean, yourself, you're the best sort of way to gauge, to sort of, you know, see like what affects you, learn who you are, what is agreeing with you, what isn't, what is supporting you, what isn't, what is healthy, what isn't, you know. What is in alignment with you, what isn't, what resonates you with, you know, what isn't. You are the, you know, the best sort of compass, if you will, not compass, I don't know, direction. You know, are, I don't know how to say it, but, you know, I don't know, folks, I'm getting distracted with people walking past here and whatever it is, but I think you know what I'm saying, you know, I think you know what I mean. Alright, folks, I hope this makes a bit of sense, it's a bit all out there. Alright, we'll chat soon.